we will be exploring the assimilation of forms other than the human. Conservation of mass limits our options in this direction, but the benefits of deploying scouts in non-human form make it worthwhile for us to pursue all possibilities. Currently, we are maintaining low-profile deployments in a number of North American and European locations. Our primary goal with these deployments is surveillance of human security measures with a secondary goal of influencing policy where deployment makes that possible. The addition of non-human scouts has complicated communication channels somewhat, since a shift in form is necessary prior to any communication. However, these challenges are being addressed. The elimination of Kleiser created a temporary leadership vacuum that has since been filled. Current command structure is more efficient than what existed under Kleiser and more flexible in its approach. Kleiser, due to an unfortunate indulgence of desire for revenge, placed too much emphasis on the minuscule but formidable portion of the human population which has undergone genetic or technological augmentation, specifically Steve Rogers and Rogers' colleagues known as the Ultimates. New leadership is refocusing on the ideal of order without counterproductive individual grudges and predispositions. We are no longer focused on human political centers in New York and Washington. The events leading up to the Arizona setback made clear that our surveillance must be diversified, encompassing human technological research and cultural production, as well as the standard intelligence targets of military and political activity. The National Socialist host understood that the imposition of order requires domination and control of cultural production as well as military strength. We are redoubling our efforts on this front. Much of this effort consists of suborning existing structures such as film production to increase the dissemination of material that prepares the human mind for the idea of order. Developments in ordnance, asset strength, and facilities will parallel this exploration of human cultural production.
At the table in the Triskelion meeting room down the hall from Nick Fury's office sat 5 people and a video monitor. The monitor, situated between Clint Barton and Janet Pym, showed the hangdog face of Bruce Banner. On the other side of the table, Tony Stark sat between Steve Rogers and Nick.
Okay, so there's good news and there's bad news. First, the bad. I couldn't get security upstairs to let me bring martinis down from the helipad.
Nobody laughed. Perfect. They weren't supposed to. Tony started to feel better. A little self-deprecation, an intentionally unfunny joke, and before they knew it, the audience was liking him despite themselves. On the other hand, this was not a typical pitch audience, in that he knew them already. Also, here he wasn't Tony Stark, multi-billionaire industrialist. Here he was Tony Stark, dissipated but necessary inhabitant of the Iron Man suit.
We can and we will, Cap. The good news is that due to the enormous black budget opportunity given Stark Industries in the aftermath of the Hulk incident, thanks again, Bruce, I stand here before you to announce that I've got a prototype imaging technology that will be of great interest to all of us.
Tony saw Steve and Nick exchange a glance. Military. No patience for the art of presentation. On the video monitor, Banner's face remained glum. Tony knew what he was thinking. They threw him out of a plane when they needed him, and now Banner was back in this cell until they might need him again. Well, it was true, but Banner brought it on himself when he shot that needle into his arm and created Captain Amerihulk.
Imaging technology? Who needs that? Well, we do. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s got great satellite coverage and the best street-level cameras around, but there are times when you need to look a little more deeply.
Sometimes I hope that God will one day decide that you can only shovel so much cow flop, and then he's going to strike you dead.
He might. He just might. But before he does, let's go into another room where I've set up a little...